Do you ever sit down to study or work, but after just 5 minutes you pick up your phone? Maybe you hear a notification. Maybe you suddenly think of checking social media. Or maybe your mind just starts wandering. In 2025, this is normal. We live in the age of distraction. Every app, every platform is designed to capture your attention. But here's the truth. Your focus is your superpower. What if I told you that there is a skill that can change the way you work, study, and even live? A skill that can help you do more in less time, learn faster, and feel more satisfied with your efforts. This skill is called deep work. And today we are going to discover what it really means, why it matters, and how you can master it this year. What is deep work? Let's start with a simple definition. Deep work means working with full focus, without distraction, on something that is difficult and valuable. Think about two kinds of work. One is shallow work. This is when you reply to emails, scroll through social media, or attend endless meetings. It keeps you busy, but it does not really build new skills or create lasting value. The other is deep work. This is when you write an essay, solve a hard math problem, practice English listening with full attention, or design a new idea. It requires concentration, and it pushes your brain to its limits. But this is also the kind of work that helps you grow. Let me give you an example. Imagine a student who has an exam next week. Student A studies for 3 hours, but during those hours, he checks his phone, chats with friends, and takes many small breaks. At the end, he feels tired, but has learned very little. Now, student B also studies for 3 hours, but in those hours, the phone is off. No messages, no distractions. He is fully focused. At the end, student B has learned more, remembered more, and feels more confident. That is the difference between shallow work and deep work. One looks busy, the other builds real results. Now, why do we call it deep? Because your brain is like an ocean. On the surface, there are waves of distraction, notifications, random thoughts, small tasks, but deep down there is calm water, a space where you can focus, create, and think clearly. To reach that deep level, you need time and patience. You cannot just jump in and expect it to happen in 1 minute. Another way to understand deep work is through learning English. Imagine listening to this podcast while also checking your phone or cooking. Yes, you hear some words, but your brain is divided. This is shallow listening. Now imagine sitting in a quiet place, closing your eyes, and focusing only on the words, the rhythm, the meaning. That is deep listening. And with practice, your brain becomes sharper, and your skills improve much faster. Deep work is not only for students or professionals, it is for anyone who wants to use their mind fully. Writers, scientists, artists, athletes. All of them use deep focus to achieve greatness. Even ordinary people can use deep work in their daily lives. Cooking a meal with full attention, writing a journal without checking your phone, or spending quality time with your family. These are also forms of deep work. So the first step is simple. Understand that deep work means single tasking. One thing at a time. No distractions. Full focus. It sounds easy, but in our modern world, it is actually rare. And that is why it is so powerful. We now understand what deep work is. But the next question is, why does it matter so much, especially in 2025? Let's explore 3 big reasons. We live in the age of distraction. Look around. Every day we are surrounded by noise, phones buzzing, notifications popping up, messages waiting. Social media is built to capture your attention for as long as possible. Even when we want to focus, our brain is pulled in 10 different directions. In 2025, this has become even stronger. Short videos, AI-generated content, endless news feeds. They compete for your focus every second. If you do not train your mind, distraction will control your life. Think of it this way. Your attention is like money. You only have a limited amount each day if you spend it on shallow things. Scrolling, refreshing, clicking. You will have nothing left for what truly matters. Deep work helps you protect your attention and invest it wisely. Shallow work can be replaced. Another reason is about the future of jobs. Technology and AI are getting better every year. Many simple or repetitive tasks, writing short reports, answering emails, doing routine calculations, can already be done by machines. This is shallow work. But what cannot be replaced? Creative thinking, problem solving, and producing something truly original. That is deep work. In 2025 and beyond, people who can do deep work will stand out. Imagine 2 workers. One spends the whole day answering emails. The other spends 2 focused hours creating a new solution that saves the company money. Who is more valuable? Of course, the one who does deep work. For students, it's the same. Memorizing facts quickly may soon be less important because AI can give you answers, but the ability to sit down, think deeply, connect ideas, and express them clearly, that is what will help you succeed. Deep work builds rare and valuable skills. Let's take an example. Learning a language like English requires deep work. Yes, you can spend hours watching random short clips, but your progress will be slow. Now compare that with 1 focused hour of reading, listening, or practicing conversation without distraction. That single hour can be worth more than 3 hours of shallow practice. It's the same with musicians, scientists, or athletes. J.K. Rowling wrote much of Harry Potter in quiet cafes with total focus. Bill Gates famously took think weeks, spending days in a cabin alone, reading and writing without distraction. These periods of deep work produced ideas that changed the world. What does this mean for you in 2025? It means that deep work is not optional. It is the skill that will allow you to learn faster, create better, and achieve results that others cannot. A simple metaphor. Let's use a metaphor. Imagine your brain as a muscle. Shallow work is like lifting a very light weight again and again. You feel busy, but you are not getting stronger. Deep work is like lifting a heavy weight with full effort. It is hard, it burns, but it makes you stronger. In 2025, many people are stuck lifting light weights, busy all day, but not growing. Deep work is your chance to train the real muscle of your mind, personal satisfaction. There's also another reason, happiness. Have you ever noticed that you feel best not when you are scrolling or multitasking, but when you are fully focused on something meaningful? Psychologists call this the flow state. Time disappears, you lose yourself in the task, and when you finish, you feel proud. In 2025, with so many distractions, this flow state is rare. That makes it even more precious. Deep work is not just about productivity. It is about living a life where your time is used well and your efforts truly matter. Transition to next part. So now we see why deep work is so important today. It protects your attention, builds skills that machines cannot replace, and gives you real satisfaction. But how does it actually work in the brain? And why does focus feel so powerful? In the next part, we will explore the science behind deep work, how your brain changes when you practice it, and how you can train yourself to go deeper. We know what deep work is, and we know why it matters in 2025. But there's another question. What actually happens in the brain when we focus deeply? Why does it feel so powerful? Your brain is like a path. Think of your brain as a forest. Every time you think about something, it's like walking on a small path in that forest. If you only walk once, the path is weak and hard to see. But if you walk again and again, the path becomes clear, smooth, and easy to follow. This is what scientists call neuroplasticity, the ability of your brain to change and build stronger connections. When you practice deep work, you walk the same mental path many times, making it faster and stronger. That is why musicians who practice every day can play so beautifully, or why language learners who focus can recall words quickly. On the other hand, when you are distracted every 5 minutes, your brain jumps from one path to another. You never make any path strong. The result is shallow learning and weak memory. Energy and attention. Your brain uses energy to focus. Scientists say the brain has a limited supply of attention each day. When you use it well, you can solve hard problems. But if you waste it on too many small switches, checking your phone, jumping between tasks, your energy gets drained, even if you didn't do anything meaningful. This is why you feel tired after a day of shallow work, even though you don't feel accomplished. Deep work, in contrast, uses energy in a focused way. You feel tired too, but it's the good kind of tired, the kind that comes with progress. The flow state. Another reason deep work feels so good is because of something called the flow state. Psychologists discovered this in the 1970s. Flow is a mental state where you are fully absorbed in a task. Time disappears. You forget yourself. You feel joy in the challenge. Think about an artist painting, a gamer lost in a match, or a student solving a math problem with full concentration. Hours pass, but it feels like minutes. That is flow. Deep work increases your chance of entering this flow state because it removes distractions and gives your brain the chance to dive deep. And flow is not just enjoyable. It is also one of the most productive states of mind humans can experience. The cost of switching. Now let's talk about distraction. Every time you switch tasks, for example, writing an email, then jumping to social media, then back to studying, your brain pays a cost. Scientists call this attention residue. A small part of your mind stays stuck on the last task, even after you move on. That is why multitasking feels busy, but unproductive. It's like carrying sand in your shoes. You move forward, but slowly and painfully. Deep work avoids this by keeping your brain on one clear road. Real life example. Language learning. Let's make this practical. Imagine two people learning English listening. Person A listens to a podcast for 30 minutes, but checks the phone 10 times. His brain keeps switching. After 30 minutes, he remembers very little. Person B listens to the same podcast for 30 minutes with no distractions. She writes down notes, repeats words, and stays focused. After 30 minutes, her brain has built strong connections. She improves much faster, Same time, different results. That is the power of deep work on the brain. A daily training idea. The good news is, you can train your brain for focus. Just like lifting weights makes your muscles stronger, practicing focus makes your brain stronger. Start small. Try 15 minutes of full concentration on one task, then 30 minutes, then an hour. With practice, your mental muscle grows, and you will enter flow more often. Transition to next part. So now you understand the science. Deep work builds strong brain pathways, protects your energy, and creates the flow state where humans do their best work. But knowing is not enough. The real challenge is, how can you actually practice and master deep work in daily life? That's what we'll explore in the next part. We now understand what deep work is, why it matters in 2025, and how it changes your brain. But the real question is, how can you practice it in your daily life? Let's look at 5 powerful steps. Schedule your deep work. Time. Deep work does not happen by accident. If you wait until you feel like it, you will never get started. The first rule is to schedule it. Choose a specific time every day. It could be in the morning before the world gets busy. It could be at night when things are quiet. Block 60 to 90 minutes on your calendar and protect it like an appointment. For example, a student preparing for an exam can schedule deep work from 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. No phone, no internet, just books and notes. At first it feels hard, but after a week, the brain gets used to it. That time becomes a habit, a signal. Now it is time to focus. Remove distractions. You cannot go deep if you are surrounded by noise. Imagine trying to read a book while someone keeps tapping your shoulder. That is what your phone does. So the second step is to remove distractions. Turn off notifications. Put your phone in another room. Close unnecessary tabs on your computer. Tell people around you that you need 1 hour without interruption. One famous writer used to work on a computer with no internet connection, just to stop himself from checking emails. Another example, some students use apps that block social media during study time. These simple tricks can save hours every week. Create rituals and environment. Your brain loves signals. If you always study in bed, you may feel sleepy. If you always write at the same desk with a cup of tea, your brain will know it's time to work. This is why rituals matter. A ritual could be lighting a candle, playing soft instrumental music, or even putting on special focus glasses. It does not need to be big. It just needs to tell your brain, this is deep work time. Environment also plays a big role. A quiet library, a clean desk, or a simple room can make a huge difference. Some people even have 2 desks, one for shallow work, one for deep work. That physical separation helps the mind switch gears. Embrace boredom. This step may sound strange, but here's the truth. If you train your brain to always need stimulation, checking the phone every free second, you will never focus deeply. So practice boredom. For example, when waiting in line, do not take out your phone. Just stand there. Let your mind wander. This teaches your brain that it does not always need instant entertainment. A computer scientist once said, if you can't focus without your phone for 5 minutes, how can you expect to focus for an hour on hard work? Start small. 5 minutes of just sitting quietly, then 10. Over time, you will notice that your ability to concentrate grows stronger. Focus on high-value work. Not all tasks deserve deep work. Answering quick emails or organizing your desk should not take your best attention. Save deep work for the tasks that really matter: writing, designing, learning, solving problems. This is called the 80-20 rule. 20% of your tasks create 80% of your results. Identify that 20% and give it your deep work time. For an English learner, the high-value task is listening to real material, practicing speaking, or writing essays, not just scrolling grammar tips. For a programmer, it is building features, not endless meetings. For a writer, it is drafting chapters, not formatting documents. Real-life example 1. J.K. Rowling. When she wrote Harry Potter, Rowling often went to cafes, away from home distractions. She would sit for hours, fully focused on her story. Without that deep focus, the magical world of Hogwarts would not exist. Real-life example 2. Bill Gates. Bill Gates took think weeks. Twice a year, he would disappear to a cabin with a stack of books and notes, no meetings, no interruptions. During these weeks, he thought deeply about the future of technology. Many important ideas for Microsoft came from these periods. Real-life example 3, students like you. Think of a language learner who practices 30 minutes every day with full focus. No phone, no multitasking. After 3 months, this learner can understand podcasts more easily, speak more confidently, and feel real progress. Another student spends the same time but multitasks. After 3 months, little has changed. The difference is deep work. End with a ritual of success. Finally, end each deep work session with a small success ritual. It could be writing down what you finished, marking a calendar, or giving yourself a short break. This creates a sense of reward, making your brain want to return next time. Some people use habit trackers, where they mark each day of deep work. After a few weeks, the growing chain of marks becomes motivating. You don't want to break the chain. Transition to next part. So these are the steps. Schedule your deep work. Remove distractions. Create rituals and environment. Embrace boredom. Focus on high-value work. End with a ritual of success. Each step builds on the last. Together, they create a system that makes deep work possible in your life. But before we close, let's put everything together into a simple plan for 2025. Something you can start using tomorrow. We've learned what deep work is, why it matters, how it changes your brain, and the steps to train it. Now it's time to put everything together. Let's build a simple focus plan for 2025. Choose one focus goal. You don't need 10 goals. Deep work works best when you choose one clear target. For a student, it could be improve my English listening. For a professional, it could be write my book draft. For someone in business, it might be design a new product idea. Write down this goal. Make it specific and meaningful. Block daily deep work time. Once you have your goal, protect time for it. Start small, 30 minutes every day. If you can, grow it to 60 or 90 minutes. This time is for your focus goal only. Think of it as an appointment with yourself. You would not cancel a meeting with your boss. Do not cancel your meeting with your future self. Track your progress. The brain loves progress. Keep a simple notebook or calendar. Each day you complete your deep work. Mark it down. After 30 days, you will see a chain of effort. Even if each day feels small, together they create something powerful. This is how books are written, skills are learned, and dreams are built. Review and adjust. At the end of each week, Take 10 minutes to review. Ask yourself, did I use my deep work time well? What distracted me? How can I improve next week? This reflection turns deep work into a habit, not just a one-time effort. A vision for 2025. Imagine this. It is December 2025. You look back at your year. Every day you protected just 60 minutes of deep work. That is over 300 hours of full focus. What could you achieve with 300 hours? Maybe you could finish a book. Maybe you could master English listening. Maybe you could change your career. This is not just a dream, it is math. Small daily focus adds up to life-changing results. Final inspiration. Deep work is not about being busy. It is about being effective. It is not about working more hours. It is about making your hours count. In a world full of noise, your ability to focus is your superpower. And the best time to start building that superpower is now, in 2025. Thank you for listening to this episode. I hope today's practice not only helped your English listening, but also gave you tools to improve your focus and your life. Remember, choose one focus goal, block daily time, track your progress. These simple steps can unlock your potential. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe for more English listening with real-life lessons. Share in the comments. What is the one thing you want to focus on in 2025?